Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video we're talking about Nintendo Switch, Sonic, Lego, and more. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off here talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Skyline, and Skyline's got a brand new update. Now it is worth pointing out that this is the paid testing early access version of Skyline, Skyline Edge, and these changes generally make their way to the mainline build within a couple of weeks, give or take, possibly even sooner. So Edge version 54 has just released, and there's a major on-screen controls rework. Buttons can be aligned to grid, button size can be adjusted individually, better default positions, separate L3 and R3 buttons which are disabled by default, and they've toned down the haptic feedback a little bit. And interestingly enough, this is just part 1 of a 2-part release, but part 2 has not released just yet. In part 2, you can expect an adjustable stick activation radius. You can adjust how much the stick will move from its initial position. There are toggle buttons, which are amazing for touchscreen controls and also controllers. Press once and the button will stay pressed. Press again to release. They say this is useful in games like Celeste when you're climbing. Customizable rollover, and this one's interesting, restore colors to their old glory. What's even more interesting here is that as far as I know there weren't going to be any performance improvements in this version of Skyline Edge, but based on what the community is posting, and I beg to differ. If you take a look at this one here, Animal Crossing is running between 8 and 15 frames per second and looking pretty darn good with Edge 54. And someone else has Animal Crossing up and running at really close to 30 frames per second. Someone says they've got Pokemon Snap up and running at 60 frames per second when they aren't recording. And this person has Breath of the Wild and Final Fantasy 12 up and running and looking great. Next up, we're still talking about Switch emulation, but switching over to PC and talking about Yuzu. And Yuzu got a small but nice update. So in mainline version 1377, there's a quality of life fix here. It fixes controller config changes that were made while running the game, and they would not save after the game is closed. If you were experiencing that issue, you shouldn't anymore if you update Yuzu. Next up, we're talking about Sega, and today Sega unveiled something amazing. Sonic Origins Plus, 4 different games that have been remastered and now in widescreen HD and have additional content. So Sega has remastered Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles and Sonic CD. These games will also feature Amy as a brand new playable character, hopefully not a game-breaking playable character. And they're also including all 12 Sega Game Gear games for 16 games in total. Sonic Origins Plus will be released physically as well as digitally, and it will be released on Steam. And I'm really hoping here that they include the ROMs, because that would be amazing. And if you already own Sonic Origins, considering it's been out for close to a year now, as far as I know, Sonic Origins Plus will be available as an expansion pack DLC for about $10. And speaking about brand new games, next up we're talking about the brand new Lego game that we've been talking about for the last few days and was officially revealed today. Lego 2K Drive, and in my opinion this game looks amazing, and yes, you can create your own Lego vehicle. It appears that Lego 2K Drive is going to be released on pretty much every single system, and I've got my fingers crossed that it's going to be compatible with the Steam Deck. If you've watched the trailer, which I will leave a link to in the description below, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are about it. Next up, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch, the actual Nintendo Switch. And today Nintendo unveiled brand new firmware for it, version 16.0.1, with the standard changelog of stability improvements. Unfortunately, Nintendo really isn't that forthcoming with what they've changed, which is really no surprise. Fortunately though, Oatmeal Dome is a bit of a data miner and also interestingly enough a Dolphin emulator developer. Oatmeal Dome took an initial look at this and it doesn't look like it's a huge update. Some bug fixes and also some bad word fixes. And last up here, we're switching from something super closed source to something super open source. We're talking about Komikku. If you like to read manga on your PC, if you're using Linux, well, you might want to check out Komikku, which is free and open source. So Komikku has just released version 1.16.0, and admittedly, I don't really read manga much, if at all, anymore. But if you do, Komikku is a manga reader. And there's a brand new feature here. They've added the ability to read from search results. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos, don't tempt fate, save your state.